Recently, the conversation about Grand Theft Auto 6 roleplay seems to be cropping up across channels here on YouTube. Whether it's reporting on the totally top secret news that Twitch is working with GTA 6 at launch, something that has been known about for the past 8 months in the roleplay community, or how Project Rome, Rockstar's online modding engine, is going to be this huge game changer that has been known about in the RP community for over a year. GTA RP seems to be a hot buzz topic right now on the GTA news cycle, but sadly it's being covered by YouTubers who have never even stepped foot on a roleplay server. One of the main things I see pretty often in these comment sections is people trying to either grasp the concept of GTA RP, how it works, what it is, why would you do it. So I decided I would take up the challenge to talk about something that I have spent the last 6 years doing, with how it works, what is it, why do people do it, and what it means for the GTA 6 community, with all of the rumors and conversations that I know from having played with some of the biggest names in the GTA RP community. Why is it good or bad? And finally, why is the RP space both one of the most creative and most drama-filled cesspits you will ever come across? But we are getting ahead of ourselves there. So, first things first, what is GTA roleplay? Well, let's start by using something you guys already know. Have you ever played with your friends on GTA Online and had one friend who decided to just start driving as if the rules of the road mattered? Or maybe you all started talking in voices different to your own when discussing the things you were doing in the game, almost as if your character was talking and not you. Well, congratulations, you just did a bit of roleplay. Very light roleplay, but nonetheless roleplay. So, if you can understand the concepts, let's crank that up a bit. Let's add some layers to it. That silly voice you just did for your character? Okay, well let's attach a personality to it that you create. So, for example, let's call him John Smith. John Smith is an upstanding, amazing bloke who only tells the truth and thinks positively about everyone he comes into contact with. That's going to be our character trait. Our personality. So, now, whenever you come into contact with anyone else, you, regardless of how they treat you, look at them through this lens. That even if they are really rude to your character treats them with positivity and a nice attitude. In response, their character might double down on being rude, or almost be taken back that you didn't bite at them. This is called a back and forth interaction. Now, let's add in some arbitrary rules that are part of the server you play on that everyone agrees to, such as no randomly shooting each other out of nowhere for no reason. So, you and this rude guy are going back and forth, but unless they can find a good reason or purpose to shoot you, they kind of won't. So, you could go back and forth like this all day, with no worries about randomly being shot, because unlike GTA Online, in roleplay, this is the bread and butter of what people want from each other. A simple interaction. Over time, you and this guy could get into more and more heated interactions, where he tries to be even more of a dick, and your character is still approaching this a positive, nice person. He's just always polite to them. So let's say, over 3 or 4 weeks of just running into each other, John Smith could begin to form a lesser opinion of this character. Now John Smith isn't treating him as positively and nicely, and he's kind of started to call out this guy for being a bit of a dick. Not overly, but just like, hey, you're kind of rude, buddy. This is called character growth, and it happens when you want it to. Just like the real world, we grow from our daily interactions and evolve as people, so will your character when you want them to. This right here is the building blocks of roleplay. You have a character with a personality that can grow, and some rules that are part of the server you are on that are agreed upon by everyone on that server to be the decorum in which we're all going to act. But before we go any further, let's discuss roleplay servers. What is a roleplay server? Roleplay servers are custom-created GTA Online experiences, made by either one person or a team of people who've basically reverse-engineered a bunch of Rockstar Online code to make it possible for us to play differently to the online vanilla experience. Make sense? So, when you load into GTA Online, you know all those icons and missions and everything else that happens when you load in? Well, what if we turn them all off? So, no Lester phone calls about, ooh, I got a heist for you. No double XP 5 minutes for causing the most amount of damage. It's just all off. It never happens. But how do you find these RP servers? Well, there's a couple of ways, and we're going to need to introduce 3 things into the mix. A PC, 5M, and public and whitelist. So why a PC? Well, because this all only works on PC, sorry consoles. Modding to this level is incredibly hard on console due to the lack of custom framework to make these kind of things possible, which is where 5M comes in. 5M is custom framework for GTA 5, or to put it into layman's terms, 5M replaces all of the Rockstar official servers and codebase and opens up to custom code and the loading of said code. 5M is a really cool bit of software that allows us to find, load, and play custom servers for GTA 5. And not just roleplay, mind you. You could also find drift racing servers, or battle royale servers, or even whole servers dedicated to recreating GTA 4's map for you to just play in using the GTA 5 engine. Everyone likes to just boil down 5M to RP, and yes, whilst that is a lot of its use, its main thing is just allowing all these custom-built servers to actually be possible. So that's what 5M is, and remember about 5M because we will be coming back to that in a little bit. So, 5M allows us to look for servers to do with RP, and you may notice that some servers are marked as public, and some servers are marked as whitelist or allow list. What does this mean? Well, public servers means anyone can join regardless of age, experience, knowledge, or anything. You just click on it and away you go. These are the kind of servers that you're probably not going to have the best time on because the rules are very fast and loose and not a true RP experience. So instead we're going to focus on whitelisted servers. A whitelisted server means you have to submit normally a written application that answers some questions regarding RP. These are things like the understanding of basic rules that are common on all whitelisted roleplay servers, explaining your character and how they are unique and how they respond to a scenario based on your character traits. Then, this is reviewed by a real person who has a lot of experience doing roleplay that can tell what kind of experience level the person writing might have in roleplay. I know because I've done this role for servers. It was boring and 90% of these applications are written by kids who ride the special bus to school. I'm sorry, that's just the fucking truth. So, they review it and then either they approve you or deny you. And if you are approved, congratulations, you can now play on the server. This whole process could take a day, or in some cases, if you're applying to the most popping RP server at the time, anywhere up to 3 months or longer. But Fairs, why would anyone want to do all of this just to play GTA Online with silly voices? Well, that requires a different approach. Let's look at it this way. When you play GTA Online, and let's say you're doing a mission, would you rather a lobby full of all the top tier players who know exactly how to do the mission, or 3 brain-dead morons who keep failing over and over and over again and making the experience dreadful? It's the first one, right? Well, that's what Whitelist offers. It offers the best experience with the best quality of people, as vetted by the community staff team to create the most fun and impactful environments. It's almost like getting into an exclusive club. Now, we're in, and we can create our character and make all of our wildest dreams come true. But what are our wildest dreams? And what do I do and how do I do it? Well, this is the part of roleplay that so many people who have never done roleplay have a hard time getting their head around. What do you want to do? Do you want to become a criminal overlord, run a gang, shoot cops, rob banks, push drugs, and become a kingpin? Okay, you can do that. How about, do you want to become part of the police and work your way up from recruit to chief of police and catch criminals and keep law and order? Okay, you can do that. Do you like the idea of being a clean-cut lawyer defending criminals, or being a district attorney and making sure they go down for their crimes? You can do that. What about a medical professional like a doctor who treats people's injuries, because these servers have real health mechanics, from gunshots to broken bones. Depending on what happened, that probably needs mending and looking after. You can do that. Or maybe you're just a simple guy who wants to live out on a farm somewhere, mindlessly slaughtering cows to butcher and sell to food vendors for them to cook. Because there is a working hunger and thirst system. That means that all players need to eat and drink regularly from these restaurants that are player owned. Yep, that's possible. I still find it hard to believe it's possible, almost in the same way I find it hard to believe that you already haven't clicked and liked that subscribe button. That's right, I'm watching you. Get clicking. Roleplay is an endless possible sandbox world created by the players and embraced by the players. You might think I'm joking, or you might think that this doesn't actually happen, but genuinely, I will tell you one story that absolutely blew my mind when I first discovered it. This happened around about 2 years ago. I had been role-playing for around 3 years by this point, and up until this point, if you had, let's say, an item like a gun that had broken due to use or age, you would just throw it somewhere, and either in 20 minutes it would despawn, or when the server restarted, it would just poof out of existence. Well, around 2 years ago this changed, and now all items stayed in the server despite restarts or a timer, and in fact, you had to put them in trash bins, mostly just because that's the way things worked. Now, there's like over 1,000 trash bins that you could put these items in, and I just assumed that you put it in, and after like a week or something, it would just kinda despawn. Like, you could see all these other things in there, so you knew there was crap in the bin, but you just didn't know when it would disappear. Then one day, I'm stood there, and out of nowhere, this garbage truck just begins backing up. A character gets out of the truck and begins to empty the trash into the back of the truck. "Hey, how's it going?" this guy says to me as he walks past, picking up all the trash and leaving. Now guys, when I tell you I thought I had seen it all in RP, I never expected for one moment for someone to actually want to be a garbage man. Yet, here is this absolute beast, picking up trash, putting it in a lorry, and driving it back to the plant. And here's the best part. He actually recycles it into usable materials for the server. Well, what does that mean, Fairs? Okay. So very quickly, because this is going to get into some deeper systems that are harder to cover from the basic perspective I am working from. All roleplay servers have an economy, i.e. everyone earns money somehow. And most criminals earn money by, let's say, for a really basic sense, making and selling guns. Those guns require materials, metal, plastic, rubber, whatever it is. This garbage man just took all of this garbage that we all throw away and turned it from garbage into recycled, usable materials to sell back to those people who need these things. That is a working economy, and that is wild to me that it's possible. At its core, roleplay is about doing what you want, how you want, and where you want to. It is true freedom. And right now, GTA 5 is one of the most heavily modded and reliable games for creating the experience with it. The reason it has blown up so much is because of how endlessly possible it is to mod. With years of mods available for it to be tweaked and used at the drop of a hat, as well as custom scripts and buildings and all sorts of stuff, it's just crazy to me and I play it. But how does all of this affect GTA 6? And what the hell is Project Rome? Well, remember how I told you earlier about 5M being this software that's used to access all of this stuff? Well, in August of 2023, Rockstar bought 5M. Why is that? Because Rockstar wanted to get access to all of its unique framework and code, so it was ready to integrate for GTA 6. And why is that, you might ask? Well, that's a story for part 2, and it's a much bigger topic than I have time to cover today. So let's wrap up here. If you guys want to comment down below if this is the kind of topics you enjoy or your thoughts on roleplay, I would genuinely love to know. I'm very apprehensive about this video because because I almost think a lot of you might have found it a little bit dull. And if that's the case, then so be it. I tried and it didn't work. But if it's something you enjoy and want to let me know, I would be really happy to hear. Please don't forget to like and subscribe, and to be honest, if we make it to, I don't know, 1,000 likes on this video before Friday, I'll make sure part 2 is next week and not in 2 weeks like I'm planning. Show me that this is the kind of stuff you guys want to see, because I'm really apprehensive. Thank you so much for watching, thank you so much for subscribing, and I'll see you next week.